Am I the jerk for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner just to shut my parents up? So, here's a little background on me. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I handle a lot of low-risk maternity cases. I work really closely with doctors and midwives to make sure moms and babies have a healthy and safe experience from pregnancy all the way through postpartum. My fiancée is also in the medical field. She's currently completing her residency. We've been living together for a few years now, and we're super happy. We had plans to get married a couple of years ago, but life just got incredibly busy, honestly. We're in no rush. The only people who seem to have a problem with it are my very religious parents. They absolutely cannot stand the idea that their youngest son is living in sin. It's a constant source of tension. I'm an adult. I make my own choices. And frankly, I don't care what they think about my living situation. We're planning to get married this coming June, but that doesn't seem to be soon enough for them. This brings us to Christmas. The whole family gather at my parents' house this year. And when I say the whole family, I mean it. It was my folks, my 3 older siblings with their spouses, my fiancé and me, and all 7 of my nieces and nephews. 17 people packed into one house. You can just feel the potential for drama brewing, right? So we're all sitting down for Christmas dinner. And of course, my mom starts in on it. She says, loud enough for everyone to hear, how relieved she is that we're finally getting married so she won't have to be embarrassed at church anymore. Then, my dad chimes in, saying how proud he is of his 3 older kids, who all either waited to move in together until after they were married or got married right away. I could see my fiancée getting really uncomfortable and embarrassed. Her face was turning red, and she was just staring down at her plate. And me, I was getting furious. We've had this same stupid argument countless times, but doing it in front of the entire family at Christmas dinner was the absolute last straw. I've repeatedly asked them, begged them even, to just accept that they can't control my life. It's the reason I always stay in a hotel when I visit, even when I come alone. It's just easier to avoid the constant judgment. But this time, I decided I wasn't going to just sit there and take it. I had to do something. So, an idea sparked in my head. I decided to change the subject, but in a very specific, calculated way. I cleared my throat and started talking about a fascinating case I'd been reading about at work. I mentioned a premature baby that was born almost 3 months early, weighing only about 1.6 pounds. I talked about how this tiny baby was so strong and healthy despite being so little, and how the NICU team had really high hopes for its survival and long-term health. I was going on about the miracles of modern medicine and the resilience of preemies. As I was talking, I glanced over at my parents. Their faces were priceless. They both had this wide-eyed, deer-in-the-headlights look. They knew exactly where I was going with this, but they were trapped. Too bad. They shouldn't have messed with my fiancé's feelings. Then, I delivered the final blow. I turned to my mom and dad and said, you know, that reminds me of my oldest brother. Wasn't he born super premature too? Something like 4 months early. The table went silent. You could hear a pin drop. I continued, you know, I'd love to see the old family album, the one where you keep all the records of family births and things like that. It would be so interesting to look back. Here's the thing they didn't know I knew. My grandmother, bless her heart, had spilled the beans years ago, the very first time my parents tried to shame me about my life choices. She told me the whole story. My premature older brother was actually over 9 pounds and nearly 23 inches long when he was born. A 9-pound, 4-month premature baby? I don't think so. Do the math. He was born perfectly on time, which meant my mom was well into her 2nd trimester when she and my dad got married. The subject of our living arrangements was dropped faster than a hot potato. My parents quickly steered the conversation to something completely different. and the rest of the dinner was thankfully free of any more lectures about sin and marriage. Later that evening, after everyone else had left the dining room, my parents pulled me aside. They were livid. They told me I had no right to try and embarrass them with private family matters that were none of my business. They said I was being disrespectful in their own home. I looked them straight in the eye and told them that if I ever for the rest of my life heard one more word about my fiancé and me living together, I would make sure to keep bringing up the undisputed fact that my mom was pregnant when they got married. I said it calmly, but I made sure they knew I was 100% serious. My parents are still mad at me. They think I overstepped and was cruel. But you know what? My fiancé is happy. She feels like a weight has been lifted. And she's relieved that the shaming has finally stopped. They haven't mentioned our living in. Since that dinner, it seems like they finally got the message. So, what do you think? Was I the jerk for using their own secret to get them to back off? Or was it a necessary evil to protect my fiancé and my own peace of mind? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more.